I assume you're ready.
You'd better take me seriously. Round one. Ready, go! Knockout! Round two. Ready, go! Knockout! Round three. Ready, go! Knockout! Round one. Ready, go! Knockout! Round two. Ready, go!
Yeah, I'm making fun of me and stuff here. The house that we sold to these fucking bastards who talk shit.
Knockout!
I had a job for 3 years and got SSI, so I figured they can't go say all sorts of crazy shit because you had vision issues and all sorts of other shit that is not caught on here, so they just fucking psychos.
Excellent!
I got a perfect amount of noob with Sarah Bryant.
Try again in a few years.
Why they're so like fascinated with me if they're gonna just say a bunch of discriminatory shit and try to prosecute someone who served in something whose family served in the military.
This is for real. Round one. Ready, go! Knockout! Round two. Ready, go!
That ADT shit's like it is basically invasion of privacy when you're not doing anything too terrible, and I was at a place for 2 years besides the 3 places that we had before we sold, and we shouldn't have sold if they were gonna talk a bunch of crazy shit. And it wasn't in that bad of a condition for having a house since 2003 or 4 up until the roof and that was just from basically hail damage and build up from having too many storms during the springtime through winter like it is now.
You'll never be a match for me.
Round one. Ready, go! Knockout. Round two.
They can't have a courtroom case over somebody who basically the government's not telling them via the hospital that I'm going to prison. That if I'm able to walk into a doctor's and get physically cleared by something, then they can't go forth and say you're going to go to prison after your parents die and take your house away. They're not writing you that. It's them telling you a bunch of creepy shit.
Knockout. Round three. Ready, go! Knockout. Round four. Ready, go! Come on!
SSI isn't disability though. It's like you physically put in years that you've worked for something that the government gives you.
Round five.
But it's not. Disability is welfare. It's different. That's like receiving money without working. And I had worked at, but I had shown the plaques and merits and stuff, writing grants. So
Knockout.
I can't let.
Let's talk more action. Round one. Ready, go! Knockout. Round two. Ready, go! Knockout. Round three. Ready, go! Knockout. Round four. Ready, go! Come on! Knockout!
Better run home to Mama now.
Round one. Ready, go! Knockout. Round two. Ready, go!
The hospital cleared me. They can't fucking say that discriminatory shit, then take your house away because you just basically felt like they're superior to you because they fucking work for the city and they're psycho.
Round 3. Ready?
I wouldn't have had all those surgeries if I don't fucking know they were gonna do some crazy shit like that and me basically not being able to work because of the eye surgery. I know I sit here and play video games, but if they understood that you're blind out of one eye and it isn't bull. I know this picked up on here where they can prosecute them.
Round 4. Ready? Go!
People that get made fun of for having disabilities, they said there's a law in place where they get thrown in prison besides the ones who are living with a disability. And I learned that because when I went to the eye surgery, they told me all that stuff.
Knockout!
I can't let you.
If I die, they can get prosecuted.
Round 1. Ready? Go!
I don't know why they're so bold to do that shit when they know they're gonna get thrown in something. Yeah, I got cleared. They should be afraid of me because I got medical clearance.
Round 2. Ready? Go!
I mean, if they didn't like me, why did they clear me and all that? That doesn't make sense. That would make anyone fucking confused.
Round 3. Ready? Go!
Remember they're saying I had shit on my iPhone and I didn't have anything that bad and I didn't really use it that much other than to make phone calls to when I have like appointments that I have to go to and go through set stuff and basically living with glaucoma.
Knockout!
Try again in a few years.
I know if they play this back in court, they'll get prosecuted for making those remarks and stuff that they don't write on comments, but they talk a bunch of shit outside of this. But I'm not bothering them. I'm not fucking physically outside fucking yelling and screaming and shit, but they're over there talking all that crazy shit, thinking they're cute and funny.
Knockout! Round 2. Ready? Go!
It makes them look like they're fucking psychos if they just come out of the woodwork and do that shit to people that worked hard. And they weren't asking for a handout. And it wasn't just a fucking handout either.
Knockout! Round 3. Ready? Go!
SSI isn't disability, it's fucking a form of working for 3 years, filling out a form, and when I filled out the form I took a photo stamp copy of it saying that I played video games. So they understood that I was playing video games.
Round 4.
And I didn't spend like the whole entire amount on set thing when back then like they had required you to like work for 3 years before you even get that. And it's not like state assistance, and it's not welfare. It's different from someone that puts in for 3 years gets that. Anyone that worked for 3 years can put in for that. I was writing grants for 3 years for the Kaufman Foundation, so I have all the proof in the world, like I said, and that's why I said it was raggedy how they did me back before we moved.
Round 1. Ready? Go!
There'd be a bunch of stained walls and shit if I was some kind of creepy fucking dude and it wasn't really nothing bad.
Ready, go!
I went through the proper channels and that. It wasn't like it was just basically some sort of shady thing, and they understood that I had played video games when I wrote out the forum, because I said I played video games.
Ready, go!
I don't know why they bought the house if they're gonna make death decks and all sorts of other shit towards us. And that shit clear as day came up, and I was playing other stuff too back when they just didn't know it was them because we thought the neighbor was the guy who was harassing us. They can't have all these people harass us and shit, but I'm not really doing anything that bad towards anyone.
Ready, go!
I'm not in their face about this shit, and I'm not like saying that. They made false claims against me, and then they made all sorts of like remarks and shit. They made accusations that weren't true.
I can't let it. Yes! Yahoo!
Round one. Ready, go! Knockout! Round two. Ready, go!
You can't all be in someone's like grill about shit that you have no control over. That they gave you that set amount for working 3 years, and you chose this, to do that when you physically did work for some amount of time.
Knockout! Round three. Ready, go! Knockout! Round four. Ready, go! Knockout!
I can't let anyone see me like that.
Yes! Yahoo!
Round one. Ready, go! Knockout!
I know we have something like installed to where they can watch if they're saying all this shit, because it just nobody was watching my live stream, or they can hear it playing it, but they're fucking psycho. They act friendly towards my parents and then act something else towards me. It's not even like fucking mind games. I had a locked video of like the receipts and shit. Why the fuck do they want somebody's like some profile?
Ready, go!
And then they say they can't say it's fraud because I wrote that down, and they gave me a set amount when they're writing to me via the phone saying that I have set amount given. And you can blackmail them if they do try to claim that, because I had two courtroom trials over stuff that I was medically cleared on.
Round four. Ready, go! Knockout. Round 2. Ready, go!
They see that I go to concerts and that, and I live stream via my Facebook to where that law firm should protect me off psychos that talk shit that have nothing better to do, off fucking harassment and shit, off someone who had the set amount of years to get that SSI. And the Kaufman Foundation shouldn't, you know, like, they don't say anything bad towards me if I go to Royals games, so they know.
Round 4. Ready, go!
I can't get sued off someone that I didn't make remarks or threaten them when there's nothing said against them and they're threatening me.
Knockout.
I can't even concentrate off this because of this shit, because they talk shit all day.
Round 1. Ready, go!
It is discrimination. I wouldn't be getting labs done if I was something else in my bloodstream and I have it set to where it is me with the gray hoodie.
Round 2. Ready, go!
And it would be taken off if it was somebody else. They would be doing crazy shit, like they'd be fucking... None of these people talk shit and they think they're slick and that, and I got it caught on video and I can prosecute them instead of prosecuting someone who hasn't done anything towards them, but they're just starting shit.
Knockout. Round 3. Ready, go!
You can't take it off if I log out of it, and it takes my face to unlock my computer.
I can't let it go.
No, there's nothing on my background check if I'm receiving SSI.
Round 1. Ready,
Oh, they're not even right themselves. They just see what I posted and they just a psycho. I don't know, I blocked like a bunch of people because all they did was stalk me via that. And that it wasn't right to have a restaurant when they didn't really do much for you. They can't say you're going up there. That's discrimination. Why the fuck do they want me in jail for when the government themselves are writing to me, giving me the SSI money? And I put on the form that I played video games. They can't turn back and say there's people living with disabilities that are able gamers that sit in like those chairs that are wheelchair bound. And I should be wheelchair bound, but luckily enough, the surgeries I restrained wasn't that extraneous on my leg to be able to cripple like what they're fucking trying to do off someone who's living with disabilities that had surgeries and stuff. They didn't make fun of that Chad Boswick guy that played the Black Panther that had the same eerie shit that had cancer of the scrotum. They didn't make fun of him, or if they did, you're not seeing it. I had that way back then, and it had stuff that could have been cancerous, but for whatever reason I didn't get fully checked out that well, and I had fucked up surgery. Like I explained, playing that Xbox game back then, thinking that I would be alright. And kept switching out of high schools because they kept making fun of me and shit off stuff that they kept making false claims and stuff. And why did they even write that? And why did they have me do that if they were going to turn around and blackmail me off years later? off the shit that they can't have, to where they're fucking stupid to do that shit towards a person whose family served in the military. I have all the proof of that's why I fucking made that clay world back then, my fucking badge, drawing the world, because it fucking wasn't right. And game designers, like how that guy that made Shenmue, that Yu Hazuki guy, that A1 developer that made the Virtual Fighter and Hang On and all that shit, they had made clay sculptures of the characters. I can go step by step of what I did, and then people will say, "Oh, you're retarded for showing that. You're stupid. This, that, and the other," and they just make fun of someone who's not harming them. It's like what Kevin Smith said, that the person that had said disability isn't harming anyone. They keep making fun of them, they leave them alone, and they don't. They just keep on. And if you do something, then they'll toss you up in something. I mean, when I stand up for myself, that's what they were gonna do. They were gonna toss me up in something for just verbally saying, "Leave me the fuck alone. I drawed it, and it wasn't someone else's stolen goods when it had your last name." I have all those attorneys. They'd be bold when they play this back. They're the ones that are going to get thrown up in there. It isn't stolen when I had receipts for my last name Ortega. When I go back on the GameStop profile from 2010 onwards, or back then, and it scrolls down, everything I bought was new there, for the most part. I don't know why they did this, to where they fucking think they're slick and they're gonna throw somebody in jail when they can't do that, because you can go back and prosecute them for making death threats and remarks and shit off a person living with disabilities. They're trying to take advantage of you. And I did work, if I have that said paperwork with the said address with me outside with the cat on Twitter and that, from 2004 onwards, lived there. (2003, 2004) from middle school to high school, and then onwards to high school, 2004 onward to 2008 I worked. I wasn't lazy, so I figured having a job during high school isn't like a good thing, because you have to balance all that shit and write grants for something that if they said off that I wasn't able to get something from them, that I didn't have set thing for that amount of time put in for it. And I have documentations that I have still, that I took photostamp copies of that all, and they still want to blackmail me off shit that doesn't make sense. If that was a nut job, I'd be yelling back at them, but I'm gonna ignore them because they're not stable minded and they're fucked in the head. I keep hearing soundboards and shit. I know I have a computer that had the availability, but I'm not fucking playing anything when I was live streaming during the course of 2015 onwards. You would hear all that shit if it was me, the one that was doing that shit. And it was the set music, like off someone that mutual respect, that had the same name as my last name of a family member that also had military. All our family served in the military, to where they shouldn't blackball you if you basically say what's on your mind and then basically have a head concussion to where you're not yourself. There was somebody on MTV's True Life that got in a car wreck that was a drummer that had no filter, that wrote to people back when he became disabled, and he had to live with his mom, and that's how I felt, because I had a head concussion. I have, I could demonstrate documents and stuff, but I barely wanted to put it on here because they kept saying I was lazy. And I had to go to all those doctor's appointments and had a case manager. And during that time, I should have just stayed put and not had gone to the movies. And that nothing bad would have happened to me with that guy singling me out because he thought he was better than everybody else, and they had the shit backwards. Nobody even watches what I post on here anymore, and they keep saying all sorts of discriminatory shit towards a person. $11 matches. One loss, 10 matches, 9 streak win.
It's go time, baby. Round 1. Ready, go!
I have somebody that I talk with on Google that served in the military that I put on skills, that if he sees this, and if they do something to us, and if they steal our shit, then they can all get prosecuted, because that dude really did serve in the military. And I think he would be pissed off if they rip up his military photo and take our shit.
Knockout!
I have like fucking insulin diabetic needles. If somebody does try something, I'll fucking poke them with one of them if they really do try to fuck with me. And it's not gonna be on me because they're over there talking all that crazy shit. But they can't prosecute me because you see all that shit on like Lifetime. And then it's like a bad Lifetime movie where they make you out to be a bad guy and you're not that bad of a person. For the most part, I stayed to myself. Back for 2 years, didn't bother anyone.
Round 3. Ready,
And I still
go!
got blackmailed, and it just... I won 30, I didn't lose 30. They don't understand that shit, then leave you alone. They don't understand charts and shit, they don't need to be talking shit.
Round 4. Ready, go!
There's people that have disabilities that get to go to Disneyland, so I'm not saying that what they did is similar to that, to where you have said like case manager that you talk with can bail you out in terms of what is said and done.
Knockout!
I barely go to St. Luke's in Missouri. I know I went to Kansas a bunch because it was the closest hospital.
Round 5. Ready, go!
And the Kaufman Foundation was in Rock Hill Road, set between Kansas and Missouri. And they can't prosecute me because why would they be letting me hug on Royals cheerleaders filming? They would confiscate what I had. They know what they had to play over in terms of the jumbotron that records everything, or the stuff that's filmed.
Knockout!
Isn't fraud when it's something that you put in for or be a job for 3 years when you qualify for something. They understood that you played video games when you put it on a form. They made a photo stamp copy of it. If they're mad about it, I'm not on Twitch. YouTube is different from Twitch.
Knockout! Round 2. Ready, go!
Me and Evan were at Sam's Club back then, and before we moved back and got harassed by 2 people that didn't even know
Excellent!
about like how online like playability, you didn't play online as much because you get harassed by people.
3. Ready, go!
That's why I didn't like Microsoft, because they made fun of disabled people with all that stuff that they do here. And I had a Microsoft account back in 2004 to 5, and I basically, back in 2006 and 7, had surgery that I had downtime while I played video games, and said that I'd be a Shawnee Mission North after I transferred out of the freshman and sophomore years, and then junior and senior had surgeries and took a set test that no one was in the room that I took there to be able to have a letter sent to me by the Bush family from Texas saying that I could be a game designer. That's why I said it was classified. I had all the proof of this stuff, and I posted on Facebook. It was real because I was set that person in set thing, and I still look the same as long as they don't try to do anything funny like pour acid on someone's face. I should be in a wheelchair being able to sue them all. They can't say that it's fraud when you work for set. Disability is set different from SSI. SSI is when you work somewhere and have it in the system to where you can get it out if it's qualified you for it.
Round 1. Ready, go!
And I had glaucoma was real because I really did have 2 eye surgeries done in both eyes because of the strain that I had from all sorts of stuff back then when I was a premature kid. And I was shorter, and I basically had then I was 13 going into 14, got tall, and had glasses from then on forth, and had to wear them and had all the paperwork in that. And it isn't fake. I don't know how the fuck you fake shit when you have it from said place, when you had going to said place, when you have documents and shit.
Round 2. Ready, go!
They can't get you for 3 hours of playing it online with someone that barely was playing the stuff during a time frame when they moved from an apartment back to a house. For me to explain this stuff, it's basically fucking like up when they talk to people in a certain way that live with disabilities. That's why, without reason, you would commit suicide if they were going to try to take everything away from you when the government themselves is writing to you, not stating that, but it's just people that are fucking biased and they're discriminatory against a person. Have them play all this back. Okay. They can't sue you when they're not fucking talking shit against them. They can't have a civil suit off people that are making fucking replies on their boxes and shit that are thinking that it's funny and cute. If I die, my parents can go sue everybody because I wasn't even fair to have all sorts of shit happen to where no one's at fault, and there should be somebody at fault besides the person who went through it.
Round 5. Ready, go!
I'm not afraid of them. I'm gonna stick them with an instant needle if they try something fucking funny towards me. Or get them with the claws, or fucking have the scissors in if they're fucking trying something funny towards a person living with disabilities. I can hear them, and I know it picks up on this microphone via the feed too.